got the party started.
Two top 8 hopefuls, both off big defeats and keen to hit back. The edges of the Sydney Basin collide at Cronulla. The Sharks and the Panthers as NRL Sunday continues on Fox Sports. Hello and welcome. Matt Russell, Mark Gasnier and Ben Eichen with you in commentary. Ben, who wants this one the most?
Look, it's hard to get a read on these two teams, both beaten well by their opposition last week. The Panthers were just worn down by the Newcastle Knights and beaten solidly in the end, but did produce some quality football. Whereas the Cronulla Sharks, well, they were just blown away by the Roosters, and I'm wondering whether or not this Asada investigation that has now made its way back into rugby league is going to prove too big a distraction.
The Panthers are chasing a share of 7th position with victory today. Let's have a look at the way they line up. Matt Moylan is the fullback on the wings. James Roberts and David Simmons in the centres. Lewis Brown again, Dean Farray as well. The halves, Isaac John, and the inform, Luke Walsh in the forward pack. Up front, Jeremy Lattimore playing just his 3rd game of the season. The captain, Kevin Kingston, and the ever-reliable Tim Grant having a big back end to 2013. Clint Newton, Adam Docker, and Sikamanu, who returns having missed the last 4 games with a thumb injury. The bench, Seguiaro, Ryan Simpkins, Cameron Ciraldo, and Sam Anderson playing just his 3rd NRL game. Beaten 32-14 last week by Newcastle. Penrith and the Sharks off that 40-0 wipeout against the Roosters with a 9-win, 8-loss record. They can go to a share of 5th with victory today, and they line up this way. Michael Gordon in the fullback role, Sasai Feki and Nathan Stapleton on the wings, Ben Pomeroy and Jonathan Wright at the centres. In the halves, Todd Carney overcoming a sternum problem to play this week. Jeff Robson is back, having missed the Roosters' loss. Andrew Fafita, John Morris and Bryce Gibbs, your front row. The back row, Jason Bakuya, Chris Hyington and Wade Graham. Graham another to return this week, having missed last week. The bench, De Gois, Peachy, Tagatese and Ben Ross. Still no Luke Lewis or Paul Gallen, both mentioned as possibilities for this game, but they aren't in. On what is a beautiful afternoon, it is Family Fun Day at Shark Park. Mark Gasnier sideline, you having fun yet?
Well, good afternoon, Matty. How could you not? How could you not have fun at the football on a Sunday afternoon? But I tell you what, I'm not having as much fun as them kids behind me up there on the jumping castle. They are having an absolute ball. In regards to who do I think is going to have more fun on the football field, well, I'd have to say it's the Penrith Panthers. I expect them to play a really expansive game plan here today, particularly with the addition of Sikamanu. I expect them to be far too strong on the edges. But if true to Cronulla form, they will make them earn absolutely every bit of it. They've got to be patient, the Panthers, as it won't come early.
They are the Pink Panthers again this afternoon, and why not? They've won all 3 games this season when wearing pink and racked up a great combined scoreline as well, 119-34. The Pink Panthers are winning Panthers, Ben.
It could be a good luck charm, the pink jersey. We just saw Kevin Kingston. He set the benchmark for professionalism, if you ask me. What he's been able to do since he was earlier told he wasn't required. For 2014, he's since earned himself another contract. Sikamanu here on screen makes his return. He'll be brutal down the right edge for the visitors. And here comes the home side. The Cronulla Sharks, minus Paul Gallen, minus Luke Lewis, no Bo Ryan, no Anthony Tupou. So they're going to have to play extremely well to beat the Panthers, but they have got it in them. I said earlier about the distraction of the Asada investigation. Well, they rallied the troops earlier in the year when it was a focus. Started winning football games again. Well, the headline remained a burden. Can they do it again here this afternoon?
Todd Carney cleared to play. You might have noticed Ben Pomeroy led them out in jumper number 3. The centre today playing his 150th for the Sharks. Having played 2 seasons and 10 games for Penrith, he now raises 150 outings for Cronulla. Ben Pomeroy, having missed the last 3, he's back today.
Right, boys? Yeah, here we go.
In their last two meetings, the difference between these clubs, just 1 point. What's it going to be today? NRL Sunday on Fox Sports, continuing. As the Sharks have first use, it's Stapleton taking the first tackle. Now Gibbs, his 4th game back from that Achilles injury, which proved the start of his season. Fafita. Now Hillington, he gives it. There's a touch for Pomeroy in the first set. In fact, it was Michael Gordon. Now Fafita. The second carry, crossing halfway just. Carney, he completes with a torpedo downfield. It was a popular kick selection last night in Wollongong between the Raiders and the Dragons. And Simmons plays it. Moylan. Fafita on the tackled player for too long. He copped a warning and didn't respond. And Penrith come up with the first penalty.
He's an enigmatic player, Andrew Fafita, because he can be brilliant. He has the odd bit of ill discipline in his game. And that's definitely part of what the home side need to get right this afternoon. No silly penalties, no switching off, because Penrith are a side that plays somewhere near their best for almost a full 80 minutes.
Tim Grant happy to get his hands on the ball. This is Adam Docker. Quite remarkable he's playing this week after copping a knee from Cade Snowden, flush on the cheek. And he looked a mess after last weekend's game. Walsh to Newton. It took a good tackle from Robson around the ankles to bring Clint Newton down. 10 metres out. Penrith chasing first points. Walsh. Here's Isaac John running. Getting away from Morris, but only momentarily before Fafita and Gibbs combine. Kingston. This is Walsh. He went flat to Sikamanu. The last for Penrith. Brown goes to Walsh, who will kick across field looking for Simmons. It's worked already this year, and it almost worked again. Simmons caught the kick, but couldn't get to the in-goal area.
It was a good set from the Panthers. Both myself and Mark Gasnier pointed out before the game that Sikamanu would work down the right edge. He's in fact going to play down the left edge, so he'll be angling at Todd Carney, who defends on the right for the Sharks, as opposed to Jeff Robson down the left.
All good there, all good there.
Accidental mousetrap from the Sharks. Here's Bakuya. Off to the Warriors next year, Jason Bakuya. As Bryce Gibbs is tackled just short of his 40-metre line. And a wayward pass goes behind Robson. Gordon had to clean up. Now the kick comes from Wade Graham. Matt Moylan traps it with his feet, overruns the ball and now returns. So it was scrappy, but the Sharks got to their kick. Jeremy Lattimore, he returned last weekend for the first time since round 1 and was very strong on return. Grant. Kingston goes to Isaac John. Sikamanu on the left edge. Tackled by Carney, and later Pomeroy and Fafita. John sits it up for Grant. He's got to shoulder a bit of responsibility. No Nigel Plum. They've been without McKendry for a while. Mossy Masoi suspended this afternoon. Isaac John kicks. It's in the in goal, and it will be too heavy.
Yeah, too big there from Isaac John. Be interesting, the battle between Manu and Carney on the other side of the field. Boyd Cordner for the Roosters terrorised Carney last week. I mean, that was where the Roosters were having all their success. No doubt the Panthers will explore that this afternoon.
Jeremy. Andrew.
Well, Clint Newton runs back, but it's Jeremy Lattimore, the one penalised.
Wait, Jeremy, wait. Wait for the kick.
Too long on the tackle player. As Gibbs takes Cronulla into an attacking position. Hyington on to Fafita. He's had a freshen up in Fiji this week. He's put his feet up. Now Hyington. Busy Origin period. A big performance last weekend against the Roosters from Andrew Fafita, earning a little mid-season break. An inside ball for Carney, who was ankle tapped by Clint Newton in a try-saving play. Graham. Hyington runs into Lattimore with Kingston there as well. There's an offload for Morris. Now Fafita. Close to the line. This is where he's dangerous. The rushed offload. Robson to Gordon. The ball's still on the ground. And now we arrive at the last. Carney, he kicks across field looking for Sasaya Feki. Instead, Simmons, so safe. Up, taking the ball in front of his eyes, AFL style. And he can tap and go. Lewis Brown. David Simmons looked right at home in that southwestern corner, as he should. He's played 7 seasons at Cronulla before heading to Penrith.
To keep the coaches young, the David Simmons type of winger, the experienced, reliable ones. I see Matt King put in a great performance last night for the Rabbitohs. They don't come up with many errors.
Sikamanu with some room, a long ball for James Roberts, who puts it down. Brilliant hands from one winger on the right. The winger on the left runs cold.
And there's the flip side. A young man doing his trade. He's played bugger all NRL games, James Roberts, and that was there to be taken and should have been. Wasn't a great pass from Sikamanu, and he knows it. But you could probably call them high percentage wingers, and you know they're probably not going to be as brilliant sometimes as the younger, faster, more sensational types, but they don't cost you many points.
As we just saw the first incompletion of the game. Graham. Well, at one moment we feared would not be seen again in 2013 when he left the field with a shoulder injury, but he returns this afternoon. Morris goes to Carney. This is Bakuya straightening. Morris with a fend out of acting half. He goes to Pomeroy. Here's the milestone, the game where he can snap this scoring drought. Carney kicks for the corner, straight to Matt Moylan. And Penrith can come away from their 10-metre line. Lewis Brown out of acting half, straight into Hyington and Bakuya. Lattimore with an offload for Moylan. He's pulled down by Fafita and Hyington. Now Kingston to Walsh. The offload from Newton to Farah. Simmons from the inside out, but the tackle comes from Jonathan Wright and Graham. This is the last. Walsh elects to pass it for John to kick. Across field. Stapleton jumps and takes the ball safely, about 13 metres out. Ben Pomeroy has been stuck on 49 tries for the Sharks for 14 games. It's the longest drought of his NRL career. He'd love to break it in game 150 in front of his home crowd. Gibbs. Applauded for that run, Bryce Gibbs. Now Carney, flat and short to Bakuya. The kick from Robson into Kevin Kingston, giving the chasers time to get through and drawing a slide from Matt Moylan as he cleaned up.
They certainly are moving the football around, the Sharks. Todd Carney heavily involved so far, and look, everybody knows the better Todd Carney goes, the better the Sharks are. A couple of weeks ago against the Broncos, we see the Panthers get a penalty here. He was best on ground, won the game for his side. Last week, without his partner in crime, Jeff Robson, struggled a bit. He's got his halfback back by his side this week, and early signs are good for Todd Carney.
Andrew Fafita has given both the penalties to Penrith so far. That time penalised for offside. And Newton with a settling run for Penrith. Grant. Kingston to Isaac John. He goes to Moylan out the back. And Lewis Brown with a fend, but he can't find a way through or an offload. They sweep back towards the open side through Lattimore. Isaac John. Just the 3 tries this season for John, all against the Warriors. Walsh to Moylan. He goes for some speed. And he's tackled by Robson. The last, Farre to John. In fact, it's Walsh kicking across field. Looking for a leaping James Roberts. The ball on the ground, knocked on by the Sharks and then Lewis Brown. But they've ruled the knock-on to come in goal, so a goal line dropout coming the Panthers' way.
One of the best kicking games in the competition, Luke Walsh. And you can see here, that is pinpoint, landing right on the try line. And Cronulla come up with the error.
As we've mentioned in previous weeks, the Panthers score the most tries from kicks in the league. 23 of their 63. 11 of them from the boot of Luke Walsh. Lattimore takes tackle 1, 25 metres out. Grant up the middle. They set this set up like the last one. John giving it for Manu. The offload. Now there's some room for Lewis Brown. Brown stepping. Pushed backwards by Gordon and Stapleton, with Bakuya crucial in defence as well. John to Lattimore. Tries to fend his way clear and pushes Hyington away before being shut down. 4 metres out. Kingston to Grant, close to the line. The crowd didn't like the pass.
Stay there, stay there.
And now the last. Walsh will chip for David Simmons again. Jumping on Fecky, and Fecky comes down with it. And now a penalty to the Sharks. The Panthers stripping the ball, 2 in the tackle.
A double negative there for the Panthers. Ben Pomeroy did a fantastic job to run David Simmons off the ball when the Panthers kicked it, and then not only did they not get a chance to try and make the catch, but the strip and the tackle means that they give away a penalty, and the Sharks now 30 metres out from their own line.
Marquez near sideline. Penrith have had most of the possession and most of the territory, but no points.
Exactly right, Matty. They've done really well, the Cronulla Sharks, not to concede points there. Certainly contrasting styles to start the game. We've seen Cronulla either stick to an edge or play through the middle, whereas the Penrith Panthers, you see them play a lot more lateral, and obviously what they're trying to do, they haven't favoured a side, but they're trying to isolate Carney or Robson and concede some easy metres.
Well, Carney concedes possession. Pushed towards the sideline as he was trying to free the ball that came out and went over the sideline.
Well, if the Panthers are working really hard to get Todd Carney in defence, they're doing the same, the Sharks, at Luke Walsh. He's defending down the right, and they're having a bit of success. Carney made the line break earlier in the match, and then again found himself in a bit of space. Just couldn't hold it as he semi-broke through the line.
Two clubs who entered the big league in 1967. Head-to-head, it's close. The Sharks winning 41, Penrith 37. They're past 10 meetings, 5-all. Simmons to John, now Moylan goes on to Lewis Brown. Brown outside to James Roberts, who did well to take the pass. He was on the fly, the ball was behind him. Now he's pushed towards the sideline and over it. A tough start for the afternoon. James Roberts putting one down. They're forced into touch. And the Sharks rush in to congratulate each other.
They showed great desperation there, the Sharks, to get across in numbers. And you can understand why the Panthers want to try and get this man into space. He is electric. Super quick, and you only need to give him inches and he'll make you look the fool. But the Sharks picked up on that and they raced across to get numbers in the tackle and force James Roberts across the sideline.
Let's go, guys. 10 seconds. Come on, get in there. Let's go. 2 hands on the ball. Stay there, Luke. Over closer, mate. Ball in. Out.
Sharks go to the short side to Pomeroy. He uses a fend to take a few more metres. Tackled by the 2 Penrith front rowers, Lattimore and Grant. Morris, out of acting half, a good run. The second most capped player in the league at the moment, behind Scotty Prince. John Morris in game 281. Here he is, feeding Hyington. Now Robson, who was hit as he passed, well taken. Jonathan Wright back on the inside. There's some room for Wright. Tackled on the 10 by Lattimore and Simmons. Graham goes centre field to Hyington. This is the last, and it's Carney giving it for Graham. The inside ball for Michael Gordon. The fullback is over again. His 5th try for the season and the 60th of his career. Michael Gordon ignites Cronulla.
They've been having a red-hot crack down that side, the Sharks. Originally it was Luke Walsh, but I just picked up Ivan Cleary has swapped Isaac John and Walsh defensively. So that play was angled at the Panthers 5'8", and it was just an outside-inside play. You'll see here the ball goes from Robson out through the hands onto the left-hand side. Jono Wright is the one that works his way upfield, unsettles the opposition defence. A couple of plays later, goes out to Wade Graham from Todd Carney, back inside to Gordon. Try time to the Sharks.
The Panthers would have been fully aware of the dangers of Michael Gordon in his first year at Cronulla after 7 at Penrith, where he scored 55 tries. The flyer in the fullback role, who made a sensational start to his career at Cronulla before running into a couple of injuries. And it's Todd Carney kicking. 21 from 22 this season. That's why he has a percentage of 95. He shared the kicking duties with Michael Gordon. And Todd will have the first crack this afternoon. From 30 out, he steers it over. 6-0 the Sharks, sideline Mark Gasnier.
Well, they adopted a simple philosophy. It worked the first time, so why change it? Why go away from it? Defence was always going to be the key for the day for the Panthers, and it's not a good start. First set on their try line, they concede points. Ivan Cleary won't be happy.
Coming into this game, both teams had conceded 57 tries for the season. It was in attack where the Panthers seemed to have an advantage, having scored 15 more tries than the Sharks. The home side scores first. And Stapleton with a strong return from the kickoff. Pomeroy. Trapped by Sikamanu and Lattimore. Now Gibbs. Building an impressive set after points. Carney thought about going long, instead it's Graham. Throwing the ball to himself, he's unable to regather. And it breaks down, and Farah will start the set in enemy territory.
They need to start turning his field position into points already in this game. 13 shots for Penrith inside the Cronulla 20. Only 4 for the Sharks. They're ahead on the scoreboard, 6 points to 0.
John to Sikamanu. The offload for Moylan. He goes to Walsh. And Walsh to Newton. Kingston, centre field Lattimore. 3 plays left, 10 metres out. Walsh gives it flat to Newton, who scored last weekend. No try here. In fact, he's put it down, or was the pass ruled forward? It was the latter.
That was a great tackle by Jeff Robson. Runs a beautiful line here, Clint Newton, which he's been doing his whole career. And Robson identifies it, comes in and hits him right in the rib cage. Pass was forward, so it didn't matter in the end, but great read from the Cronulla halfback there.
Where's his whole career going to continue in 2014? It won't be at Penrith. And he stated his intention to play on. Not done yet, Clint Newton, after 7 years at Newcastle, a stint at Melbourne, a period with Hull, and now in his second year at Penrith.
That's one, Sicker! Hold!
Fafita. Able to stay on his feet despite the presence of 3 Panthers. Stapleton off his wing looking for action. Gordon. Hyington, up the middle they come.
They're rolling up the field well, the Sharks. Just playing with a tad more energy than their opposition at the moment, Cronulla.
Carney goes for another torpedo bomb and hits it sweetly. A tester for Moylan. He can't get near it. Taken by the Sharks, but they lose it forward twice.
Was that Wade Graham that came up with that catch? That was a brilliant kick. Matt Moylan was in all sorts. It's Wade Graham. I'm sure he tries to get out of the way and he ends up with it in his hands. He throws the speculator that couldn't be picked up in the end, but fantastic kick there.
The moment it left the boot, it was a 50-50 take. Swirling away from Moylan is Seguiaro. He's sent on by Ivan Cleary.
They need this, the Panthers. He'll give them a good injection of enthusiasm, James Seguiaro off the bench. He's been brilliant all season for the Panthers.
Not much room for Dean Farah, shut down by Bakuya. Now Isaac John dummies and runs before giving it to Manu. He's tackled by Bakuya and Fafita. The last for Penrith, it's with Walsh. He goes end over end into the air. Gordon, he can't get the ball. The push back from Moylan, and Morris can dive on it.
Still offside. Your player. Yes, you did. It's touched him. He didn't touch. It came off your player. I understand that. I understand that. But it's touches your player and it puts him offside. Well, that's what we've ruled. Wait, that is what we've ruled. Wait, that is what we've ruled. Yep.
I'm with Wade. It's as plain as day. It didn't touch Michael Gordon. It was pushed back by Moylan, meaning that John Morris was allowed to dive on the ball.
They got that one wrong. Plain and simple.
Grant, a metre out. Seguiaro from acting half. He stayed low and he steals a try.
Hey, that's tackle 2. Righto, I have no try. We're just checking the boring, mate, please.
Shane Haynes says no try. He wants an investigation for boring. Now, that's not describing the try, although it is an apt description. Nothing flash about this, but the Penrith player who played the ball can't walk through the ruck, clearing the way for Seguiaro. Is that what Tim Grant has done in the eyes of the video referees Paul Mellor and Reece Williams?
It's hard to tell because Tim Grant does walk forward, but it's as though he steps between the defenders and is proving himself to be less of an obstruction by walking forward, getting out of the way.
Here's the decision, a quick one. No try. They go with the on-field referee. Here comes the explanation. Well, the Panthers happy to go with that.
It's an interesting rule, that one, because the player can't disappear. To the naked eye, it looked as though Tim Grant got himself out of the way of the defenders, but the rules are the rules.
In the end, it was justice, wasn't it? The Panthers shouldn't have come up with the ball after it was Moylan who pushed the kick backwards. De Gois. To Robson and now for Feta. Has a run. They're at the last minute. It's Carney who will kick. He has to rush this one, and he's been tackled afterwards. Moylan has it. It was too late. What great position here for the Sharks.
Well,
It's dangerous.
in the space of 2 minutes, you felt the Sharks had been hard done by up the other end, which they had. It looks dramatic, but he's going to be okay. No injuries there to Todd Carney. He stayed down for a while. But there was a shove there while he was in the air after kicking the football, so rules have been broken. Penalty to the Sharks.
And they're going to take 2 points.
Oh, well, we haven't put it on the board. Was that a shoulder charge, Paul?
Keep going back, boys.
As I mentioned, the last 2 meetings between these clubs have been decided by a point.
Thank you.
Maybe that's in the back of the minds of the Cronulla Sharks, who are happy to go ahead by 8. Give me for Todd Carney from in front. 8-0. Mark Gasnier sideline.
Well, it's a great bounce back by the Cronulla Sharks. I mean, they're smart in what they do. They're a very grinding team, and the 2 points suits them. It's easy, you know, the Penrith Panthers, they probably would have gone for the 4 or the 6. But the Cronulla Sharks, they back themselves, they back their defence, and it's obviously working so far.
Their last meeting was round 21 last season. At this ground, it was 21-20 to Penrith. After a Luke Walsh golden point field goal, and here they are offside at the kickoff, Penrith.
Go 10, go 10, go 10.
Yeah, that's bad. Ivan Cleary will be furious. That's just ill discipline from the Panthers. The Sharks now off the back of getting themselves an extra 2 points will start an attacking set 30 metres out from the Panthers try line.
Ben Ross on for Cronulla. Put on his back by Docker and Grant. Hyington on to Tagatese. De Gois to Hyington. He gives it. This is Robson out for Carney. A long ball to Feckie. Cover comes across. Feckie infield. A nice step. Sire Feckie. Held up in goal.
Tackle 3. Held up, tackle 3. Back out there with Brett.
That was a great run from Feckie. He dead set beat about 5 defenders. The Panthers did well in the end to get enough defenders across to hold him up.
He's going to blow the whistle for us.
Thought he was home for all money there once he beat the first cover defenders coming across.
To Hyington with an offload. De Gois to Carney. He gives it. Here's half a chance for the Sharks. Shut down by Lewis Brown. But Kuya needed to get rid of the ball. Carney to Tagatese.
David, hold loose.
Now the last. Robson kicks into the in goal. Coming through. The Sharks force Penrith to play at it. It's David Simmons knocking it dead.
It just goes to show how much a mental game rugby league is. As brutal the contest can be, the Sharks last week, because they didn't have their heads in the game, were blown away by the Roosters. They've turned up. They're focused. They're not as distracted. I don't know what Shane Flanagan's done across the week, but they're tuned in here and playing great football. Week's a long time in footy, isn't it?
It was the first time this season the Sharks have been held to nil. 40-0 by the Roosters. The Panthers having conceded their biggest total since round 3. 32-14 losers against Newcastle. De Gois gives it to Ross. We'll play it 17 metres out. De Goyce to Robson, who dummies and runs. He's tackled by Kingston and Manu, and they give away a penalty. Hands on the ball in the ruck. Week after week, they are blowing penalties for it. Sam Tagatese starts the set and goes within 2 metres. De Goyce long, this is Robson. The support was a long way away and he takes the tackle from Newton and Seguiaro. Carney to Hyington. Hanging on grimly, the Panthers. Carney dummies and runs. Todd Carney, over he goes. The pressure pays off. He was a doubtful starter today, but he takes to the field and takes 4 points.
He's looked sharp from the get-go, hasn't he, Todd Carney? Made a line break early. Have a look at the penalty first that went the way of the Sharks. Hands in the ruck. Got themselves another set of 6, and Todd Carney, this is just a solo effort, throws the big dummy. They had good shape there, the Sharks down the right, and the Panthers' defence will drift off, sliding too quick. Todd Carney sensed it, like all good playmakers do, and used that great footwork to force himself across for a try.
A try and 2 conversions so far. A try conversion, a penalty conversion, so here he is shooting for 10 points for the game.
He's a better player when Jeff Robson is in the team.
He will kick towards the hill, the family hill on Family Fun Day. He keeps this one just inside the right upright. It is 14-0 Cronulla, and Todd Carney gets his first try at Shark Park since 2006, Mark Gasnier.
Yeah, that's surprising the way he's played ever since he's been to the Cronulla Sharks. But I tell you what, he's got spiders on him today. Great individual effort there. But once again, it's the inability of the Penrith Panthers to defend sets on their goal line. It's been a big story for him this year, and unfortunately it's a common theme for him.
Downside!
He scored a couple here in a trial before his first season for the Sharks, but in a premiership match, it's his first at his current home venue. A home venue that's been good to the Sharks this season as Ben Ross returns. They have 2 home defeats, but one of those defeats was in Gosford, so the only loss here this season against St George Illawarra in round 4.
See that possession in the last 5 minutes, 100% the way of the Sharks. No wonder they're building a nice lead.
After the Panthers had the majority of possession earlier on. The afternoon unfolding nicely for Cronulla. The final play is with Carney, who kicks towards the sideline on the eastern side of the ground. It pulls up quickly, bounces towards James Roberts. He's wrapped up quickly. Stapleton, Pomeroy and Bakuya. Brown is driven backwards. Some starch in the Cronulla defence. Ciraldo leans into Hyington.
You know, you can talk all you want about James Seguiaro coming off the bench and doing great things for the Panthers. But when Isaac De Goyce gets his way into the field for the Sharks, he adds a real burst of enthusiasm himself. And it's less about what he does in attack. His defence is brutal.
Walsh kicks from well inside his 40. He drives it more down the middle than towards the sideline. And Gordon can come back. This is Fecky. Into Farah and Newton. On his 11th NRL game, made an impressive debut earlier on in the season and has made a wing position his own ever since. Isaiah Fecky. Takes the tackle from Sam Anderson, jumper 17. Now Ross cross into Anderson again, but not before an offload allows De Gois to go to Robson, on to Gordon. Tackled by John and Kingston. Tagatese on the front foot, just how he likes it. Anderson busy defensively in this set for Penrith, and now the last play option, a high kick for Moylan. He marked safely. James Roberts will play it still shy of his 20-metre line. Now Moylan gets to the 30. Walsh on to Farah. He can't get away from Jonathan Wright. Impressive one-on-one defence from the Cronulla centre. David Simmons needing one more try to equal his season best in a single season. Career best, that is. Now Isaac John into Stapleton. Into the final 5 of the first half as Stapleton is put on his back. Akuya into Kingston. Tagatese now. Tackled by Seguiaro. Carney goes to Pomeroy. He gets an offload for Bakuya to slip into Lewis Brown. Tyrone Peachy, who's bound for Penrith next season. De Gois to Carney, another torpedo bomb coming the way of Matt Moylan. He was always chasing it, but he got there safely. Wasn't his sweetest strike of the afternoon, Todd Carney, but the tactic is clear. Send the torpedoes the way of Matt Moylan. Given the ground markings today, there's a target at the centre of the field. Strange to see circles mown into a playing surface. Clint Newton gives it for Serraldo. On to Sam Anderson, to Walsh. And now Simpkins finds Lewis Brown. A big shift from Penrith. And across halfway and some.
It's interesting, when Lewis Brown gets the ball in any sort of space, he immediately looks to James Roberts, because he knows if he's got space, there's a fair chance Roberts has got space. And if Roberts has got space, it's a fair chance there's a try beckoning.
Walsh dummies before kicking, instead passes for Serraldo to Seguiaro. Still the last, so Seguiaro kicks towards the in goal and into it. But it rolls kindly for Cronulla. Normally, you would have seen that ball pull up, but it accelerated with each bounce, seemingly. And now the Sharks are being called back.
You guys are right. You're right. You're right.
Make sure they're all on side first. Well, mate.
There's a great piece of work from Michael Gordon, you know, to shield the ball across the dead ball line and then race as fast as he could to take the hit up. But there's a Sharks player in front of him, so they've called it back.
That's 2. Release it. Get up now.
He's been a welcome addition to Cronulla over the last few weeks, Michael Gordon.
Still plenty of time in this first half for Cronulla to inflict more pain on Penrith. A big boost here with a penalty on halfway. Seeing them start a set just outside Penrith's 30-metre line. Robson on to Ben Ross. Chasing a 20-0 lead at half-time. Peachy to Tagatese. De Gois runs and gives it deep for Robson. Deep again, right. Now there's a chance for Fecchi. One-on-one with Moylan. Moylan won't get there. Sasaya Fecchi dives over in the corner. The 21-year-old keeps the good times coming for Cronulla. 18-0, kick to come. The Sharks unstoppable on NRL Sunday.
Well, geez, this is a classy piece of work from Jonathan Wright. Just have a look. David Simmons races in and just, as coolly as you like, just floats the pass out to Fecky for the try, but he could sense that the winger for the Panthers was racing in to make the tackle and just got himself right, steadied and threw the pass, and it was a great pass at that. Sharks are going to finish this first half with a flurry, 18 points to 0. Todd Carney kicking them from everywhere at the moment. Probably got to back him in, don't you, Matty?
He's only missed once this season. As we look at the stats for Sasaya Fecky, his 4th NRL try and just his 11th game. A product of the Warriors under-20 system. The Warriors, highly impressive under-20s team. They played in consecutive grand finals. 3 from 3 today. Just the one miss all season. How good is he? From the sideline to make it 20 blot at the break. Todd Carney gets it nicely, keeps it straight, puts it over the green dots at Ramonda Stadium. Sharks fans are standing and applauding. Beaten 40-0 last week. The Sharks lead 20-0 this week. The Pink Panthers with a mountain of work to do in the second half. We will break on the other side. The 3 first half tries from the Cronulla Sharks. A week's a long time in rugby league. Last weekend they couldn't score a point, the Sharks. Today they've scored 20 of them in the first 40 minutes. The Panthers tried hard and went close a couple of occasions, but Todd Carney and crew came up trumps, 3 tries to 0. Jonathan Wright and Wade Graham, all part of the party in the first half, Ben. That's a big turnaround in the space of 6 days.
Yeah, I know. They needed to bounce back, the Sharks, and they've proven that whatever was distracting them last week hasn't been an issue here this afternoon. Now, the Panthers inside the first 10 minutes were looking the goods, but they couldn't convert that field position into points. And then all of a sudden, the home side started to tighten the screws and momentum swung back the other way. And by the time they forced their way into good field position, they've just been red hot. The Sharks playing great footy this afternoon.
Let's get to the first half tries, and Penrith dominated the possession earlier on, but then when the Sharks had their hands on the ball, they used it well. A former Panther burning his old club, Michael Gordon, inside ball worked a treat.
From another former Panther, Wade Graham, and you know, he started his career in the 6 jersey, Wade Graham, and he plays like the second 5'8". He laid that one on. But the 5'8" in the Sharks this afternoon, and a couple of weeks ago was brilliant against the Broncos, and he's returned to that form. Todd Carney has been outstanding for Cronulla. He scores that one. That was a solo effort. And the third try for the home side come through. Some great work from Jonathan Wright. He just steadied himself as David Simmons raced in to try and jam him in defence. But he got the pass away. It was a perfectly placed pass, mind you, to Sasaya Fecky, who grabs a try in the corner.
Who's having a very impressive rookie season, Sasaya Fecky. So Todd Carney has been the conductor today. There was doubt about whether he'd play because of an injury late in the week, but everything he's done has had a touch of class about it.
He was off last week, no two ways about it, but as I said, against the Brisbane Broncos, he basically won the match for his team. He's made 4 runs this afternoon, 2 line breaks, 1 try. He's been in everything, and I said through the call that I reckon Todd Carney's a better player with Jeff Robson in the side. He was out last week, Jeff Robson, through injury. He returns, and it brings that halves pairing back to a real good balance of roles. Would seem to me that Robson's the organiser, he's the general, which frees Todd Carney up from that responsibility. He can just float around and play what he sees, and he's been doing a great job of it here in the first half this afternoon.
Not just scoring tries, but kicking goals. He's only missed 1 this season, 4 from 4 in the first half, the last of them from the sideline. He's got him on the string at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I mean, because it's a cracking record, but he's well and truly in the zone, and I reckon he's, whatever mindset he's got himself into with his goal kicking, for the best part of this season, take last week out, but for most of this year, Todd Carney has been playing great footy for the Sharks, and when he's on, the Sharks are a very hard side to beat.
Well, Mark Gasnier, sideline, is there a way out of it for Penrith?
Well, look, it's going to take patience. They're easily rolling up the field to the left, particularly on Sikamanu's side. They're conceding easy meters up there, the Sharks. But it's been contrasting. You know, we saw Penrith dominate all the possession. They couldn't get over the try line, and they now lead possession, Cronulla, 56%. And we've seen how many points they can convert that into. But the biggest problem with the Penrith Panthers at the moment is their goal line defence. You know, they can't even go back-to-back sets, let alone one set. So that's what they need to fix. They need to fix their defence. Points will come. They're too good an attacking team not to score points. So, look, they need to get back to basics, get back to the game plan and really worry about their defence.
Well, points might come. They almost came through James Seguiaro in the first half. On-field referee Shane Hayne initially ruled no try for boring as the play the ball. Tim Grant walked through the ruck. Ben, at the time, we said he can't really disappear, and he actually probably makes it easier for the markers by getting out of their way. But still, technically, he did walk through the ruck.
Tim Grant just blanks out here. I mean, he just strolls forward to basically his job had been done. He played the ball and did his best just to kind of think the play was going elsewhere. James Seguiaro, I think, had all intention to do that, whether Tim Grant moved forward or not. But at the end of the day, they ruled it no try. You win some, you lose some.
Well, the Panthers are chasing their third straight road win for the first time since 2008. That seems a long way away at the moment as Shane Flanagan lays down the key points to his team. They are on track for another home victory, the Sharks, and a position in a share of fifth. 40 minutes to play. We'll be back on the other side of the break. The second half, the Panthers against the Cronulla Sharks. The back end of the season has been a problem for the Sharks in recent years, but not today. Isaac Tagoy's out of his chair, as have been the fans here. The home side racing to a 20-0 lead at half-time. Josiah Feckie just one of three first half try scorers for the Sharks. They're set to celebrate another win at home in what has been a big turnaround from last weekend, Ben.
Certainly has, and that big fella there on screen in the number 8 jersey, Andrew Fafita, that was a good early sign for me. 25 minutes into the game, he'd come up with 19 tackles and 11 hit-ups. 25 minutes with that much work, you'd think you'd be looking for a break. Well, he was blowing up as he got brought off the field to be replaced by Ben Rice. I knew then that the Cronulla Sharks had got themselves in the right mindset to play high-tempo footy this afternoon, and that's been the difference. The urgency in everything that they've done with and without the ball has separated them and the Panthers.
Even last weekend, after Origin, with his team being humiliated, Andrew Fafita wanted to be on the field. He likes playing footy. And as I mentioned earlier, he earned that midweek break in Fiji. When was the last time you heard of a player heading to Fiji mid-season for a bit of feet up?
No. Last holiday I heard about was when Benji went to Bali. He was lost to the code thereafter. Surely Andrew Fafita's not going anywhere.
Not in a hurry as they form the huddle. And prepare for another big 40 minutes. It's the Panthers heading back out. As I mentioned, unbeaten in pink this season. But needing a big second 40 here.
You know, the thing about the Penrith Panthers, their success has come off the back of everybody buying in, everybody playing somewhere near their best footy, because they don't have the match winners or the star power to get themselves out of trouble when they get on the back foot. Having to play high intensity for close to 80 minutes to get success can really fatigue you. And if you don't get a critical mass of players buying into that philosophy, then you know, you get run off your feet by a side like this who have got some stars. Michael Gordon has been great. Todd Carney's been exceptional. Already mentioned Andrew Fafita. Even that man, Sam Tagatese, I think's got a bit of match-winning qualities about him. And, of course, the skipper's back, Wade Graham. A great ball runner and a fantastic playmaker.
One of 4 former Panthers in the Sharks lineup. Michael Gordon, Ben Pomeroy, Wade Graham and Ben Ross. All spending stints at the foot of the mountains.
Okay.
James Seguiaro, can he ignite Penrith? Surely their mindset will be, let's just score first in the second half and see what happens from there. Todd Carney gets us going in the second 40.
And the collision!
Anderson, 10 metres out. Welcome to the second half.
Nice and straight at marker.
My dear Lord, what about that?
Dean Farre takes a far more controlled tackle. What an explosive beginning. Sam Anderson didn't ease up, and Sam Tagatese was happy to accommodate. The two Sams in a big slam. There's a highlight as Walsh completes the opening set with a kick in behind Sasai Feki. How will he run back the chasing line? With vigour as usual and get carried back for his efforts. This is Michael Gordon trying to twist his way through and free up an arm for an offload. Penrith makes sure he can't. Here's Stapleton. My teeth feel loose just watching that tackle. Carney across field. Inside and away from Lewis Brown, but only momentarily. Isaac John rescues his centre. It's Tyrone Peachy. He's forced back in the tackle by Anderson, who's A-OK. He's young and he's strong, and he'll deliver a few hits like that as well if he has his way. David Simmons. He ran at Tagatese again. This is Moylan. There's been some big hits this season as Newton crosses halfway. Papali on Jamie Burer springs to mind, but that one is up there with them. Walsh to Isaac John. Now Lewis Brown. James Roberts goes infield with a step. He can't get away from Bakuya.
I'd like to see Isaac John and Luke Walsh engage the line a bit more. They're playing a bit too deep, which is not committing any of the Sharks defenders, allowing the Cronulla defensive line just to shift laterally onto the outside men, shut things down.
Walsh kicks high, looking for Simmons, who's on the chase. And there, but Feki has it, and he's tackled in goal, but jumped from the field of play so he can come back to the 20-metre line. In fact, it's Peachy who will tap and go after being told to wait. By virtue of the long pass from Feki to Peachy. Now Ben Ross. Michael Gordon. It's a good battle between Simmons and Feki on the wings. Carney to Bakuya. Now Tyrone Peachy. Dummies, gets the offload now through Hynton, a tip on from Robson. Nice work. Allows a pick up and go from right. Back to Robson. They keep it alive, the Sharks, for Gordon. He goes to Hynton. In fact, no, it's to Goyce. This is Carney chipping, looking for a chasing Stapleton. The bounce off the shins of James Roberts over the dead ball line. Somehow the Sharks create a goal line dropout.
Well, the kick didn't deserve the result that it got. But the play leading up to the kick was simply sensational. Here's the hit. Tagatese. What a way to set up the second half. Again, the kick from Todd Carney on the fifth tackle, and James Roberts just didn't get it right, unfortunately. Put his foot where it shouldn't have been.
The goal line dropout sprays towards the sideline. And Wade Graham returns. He's put to ground by Newton and Serraldo. This is Peachy towards a hole. He almost got away. Eventually, it's Clint Newton stopping him. Robson to Carney. Now Tagatese back at an angle. Oh, there was an offload opportunity for Michael Gordon, who would have scored. De Goyce. Goes himself, Isaac de Gois, and it's Seguiaro chopping his feet from under him. Robson will kick across field. This time it's Fecky jumping and pushing it backwards. Still there for the Sharks, still the last. The long ball from Graham to Gordon to Grubber, and chase, and get a bounce! Michael Gordon gets his second. It's Cronulla's day in the Shire. All the luck running with the home team.
This is a classic example of the difference between the two sides, and it comes down to desperation and desire. You'll see here, as the kick goes across and Fecky knocks it back in, all the Cronulla players, once the ball's back in play, they race back. You can see them trying to get onside to keep the ball alive. It ends up in the hands of Michael Gordon. He spots the space in behind the the defensive line. Waits it perfectly, and it sits up just when he needed it to, and grabs himself a try. But Matt Moylan had followed the kick across and just, for whatever reason, couldn't get himself back to where he needed to be in time.
Painful for Panthers fans. A former son scoring a double against them. As the scoreline blows out, 24-0, soon to be 26-0. Over it goes. After so much promise from the Panthers in recent weeks, they find themselves in a big hole right now, Mark Gaznian.
An absolutely huge hole, but Benny I can hit the nail on the head. Desperation, it's normally a good indicator as to what your attitude is on the day and how you're going to perform. Look, news out of the dressing rooms, Cronulla Sharks, Shane Flanagan, look, obviously very happy, praised their defence and their ability to hang in there with their backs against the wall. Said they're doing the simple things really well and to continue it. And he said, you're going to be faced with some adversity at some time during this second half. They need to respond the same. Ivan Cleary, obviously not happy at all. Said their decision-making and desperation in defence needs to be fixed immediately. Obviously won't be happy with that. Get back to the game plan and don't try to score off every play.
Ross takes the second carry. And Isaac de Gois looking both ways. He feeds Tyrone Peachey, who can be a handful, especially as the score balloons.
Hasn't he got some X-factor about him, young Peachey?
Wright tries to trample his way over the top of Walsh, who hangs on and makes the tackle with Simmons. Robson to Carney. There he is again, Tyrone Peachey. It's the last, and Carney will kick along the ground towards the sideline and finding it comfortably 9 metres out. This game being controlled by that man. He's kicked 5 from 5. He scored a try. He's kicking well. One of the torpedo bombs in the first half. A pleasure to watch and impossible to catch. It's a pretty happy bench. The footy field is their favourite place at the moment. Monday to Friday can be pretty tough for the Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, that was highlighted in their performance last week. They just did not have their heads in the game, and we all know this Asada investigation is sitting there and it's about to ramp up, and you just like to hope for Sharks fans and all the players and coaching staff that they can continue to play their best football, because when they're on, they are a real high quality team with a good chance to do something special in this year's final series should they get there.
Seguiaro will play the ball 10 short of halfway. This is Moylan going straight into Bakuya and Ben Ross.
Ben, I understand, but you have to keep the ruck clear.
Wade, come on.
You have to keep it clear. That's it, Wade.
Okay, the Panthers are going to end up in very good field position here. They need to mix it up. It's got to be said they've been a bit dour with the ball. I mean, that's why they couldn't come up with points in that first 10, 15 minutes when they had all the field position. They've got to mix it up now, a bit of variety.
Here's Sikamanu in his return game from the broken thumb. Seguiaro to Kingston. Now Lattimore charges onto the ball and finishes 4 metres out. Seguiaro long to Isaac John. Now Moylan Trying to get outside of Carney, but Pomeroy came in to assist, along with Bakuya. They sweep back to the right. John again, giving it to Seguiaro. He goes flat to Lattimore. And his run, well read. Wade Graham, Ben Ross. Seguiaro kicks, looking for a favourable bounce into the hands of Carney. Play on is the ruling for the time being. The long ball for James Roberts, but it's being called back. So a double knock on originally against Penrith. So Cronulla can come away with it.
The one thing you can never accuse James Seguiaro of is being boring. He will mix it up. And sort of early in the tackle count there, he tried to dribble it in behind the try line, but the Sharks are awake to it. But just when you get a knockback like that, when you try something and you don't have success, you can't go back into your shell. Particularly when you're 26 points behind on the scoreboard. Got to keep trying. Keep asking questions.
Ben, last weekend in the Sharks' 40-0 loss, they missed 50 tackles. Today, they've missed only 5. What a defensive turnaround, as well as a score turnaround. At this point, it's a 66-point turnaround for the Sharks.
And we've got to remind ourselves, too, they're doing it without Paul Gallen, Luke Lewis, Anthony Tupou and Bo Ryan. 4 genuine starters in this Cronulla team.
Peachy on to Bryce Gibbs. Gallen trained with the club late in the week, but obviously made a late decision not to play. And keep himself 100% the last 6 rounds. Here's Robson. Kicking straight to Moylan. He comes back. And no man is hurting more to miss this game than Luke Lewis, who put a big red circle around it at the start of the year. This is his first meeting, or the first meeting between Cronulla and Penrith since Luke Lewis went from Penrith to Cronulla. Another penalty to Penrith.
Got to stay away from the ruck.
Isaac de Gois, 2 involved in the ruck, preventing Penrith from the quick play the ball. Where are their first points going to come from? Are there going to be points at all? As Lewis and Bo Ryan look on, both fantastic for the Sharks in 2013. And Lewis making no secret of the fact he is desperately disappointed not to be playing today. Seraldo, 12 metres out. In the middle of the field, options both sides for Seguiaro. He goes to the left. This is Walsh. Dummying long. Instead, he holds it after bumping into Ryan Simpkins. Seguiaro flat to Seraldo, who gets the ball back to Seguiaro. Now Moylan just sits it up for Manu. He goes to Seguiaro again. Plenty of involvement for James Seguiaro, running backwards, sideways, showing it, now giving it. Sikamanu goes forward.
Move now!
Up there, Toro!
Hold!
Now Seraldo to Walsh, long to James Roberts. It was inviting an intercept from Stapleton, but he couldn't hang on.
That was just a scrappy set from the Panthers. The extra defence is making them tired, and the fatigue now, when they do finally end up with the ball in good field position, means that they're out of frustration more than anything, just attempting things like this. Now, while you've got to mix it up, and that was the suggestion that I made, you don't come up with low percentage efforts like that.
Hurry up!
They're just lucky it was knocked on by the Sharks in the end.
Let's remember, Penrith won 7 from 10 mid-season, and last weekend were playing for 5th position. Here's Moylan, quick hands for Farah, who couldn't get the ball away to Simmons on the far side. Kingston to Lattimore. And he's wrapped up by De Gois and Fafita. Now Walsh, flat to Simpkins. Again, well read by the Sharks' defence. Carney making the tackle. It's back to Seraldo, who goes deep through Walsh. Now Isaac John Pulls one player inside in Manu. Now Farah, the flick offload for Simmons. There is no way through for the Panthers at the moment. 2 plays left. Walsh goes towards the in goal with a kick, and it will roll too far. Just the try is claimed by Moylan.
That's tackle 5. We have no try, please. Check grounding. Check the onside.
Shane Hayne believes it's rolled dead as well. Matt Moylan conceded a try in this fashion last weekend to Craig Gower. As he got one back right here, at first sight, it looked as though he arrived a fraction too late. Oh, that looks closer.
And he looks confident.
They're checking the onside when the ball hits the boot of Walsh. Is Matt Moylan in front of him?
Well, that looks as though Luke Walsh's right foot is behind the 20-metre line. Matt Moylan's left foot is in front of the 20-metre line. Sorry, the 10-metre line.
So that would suggest that Moylan is offside. The 10-metre line, perfectly positioned for the video referees to make a ruling. I would be interested to see whether the grounding was okay had he been onside. We didn't get past the first hurdle.
You're offside. You're in front of the kicker.
In front of the kicker.
And probably must be said that it looked as though the only way the Panthers were going to break through the Sharks' defensive line, because they've been defending so well, was to come up with a kick. And here is the grounding. Did he get it down if he was onside? Yes, he did.
I need new specs. Thought he planted that over the dead ball line for all money.
Well,
but
you weren't the only one. Shane Hayne called it no try. He was closer than you.
well, it was denied for a different reason. Matt Moylan offside, just in front of the kicker, Luke Walsh. Peachy back at an angle. Here's a hole. And he loses it as he goes to ground. Seguiaro picks it up. A bit of room for James Seguiaro, but it shuts down quickly as the body of Andrew Fafita confronts him. Walsh. Sikamanu. And here's a chance. Simmons gets away from Robson. Across in cover is Gordon. Simmons still running. Pulled down by Wade Graham from behind. Walsh. Long to Moylan. He steps back towards centre field and takes the tackle from Peachy. Simpkins to Grant, on through Kingston to Manu, back to Kingston. Now Walsh. Simpkins from a flat-footed start. What can he come up with? An offload for Kingston to handle for the third time. Seguiaro puts on a dance. Gets away from one. Now Farah. Back and forth, but not much forward.
Hey, boys.
Walsh to Lattimore. And this is the last. Still this defence from Cronulla holds. Isaac John goes deep for Moylan to kick towards the in goal. James Roberts gets there first and gets some points for the Panthers. No doubt about this one. Matt Russell and Shane Hayne agree.
Not so many blokes in the NRL would have been able to score this because, quite simply, they wouldn't have been fast enough. But James Roberts is electric. Matt Moylan drops it onto the right foot. Look at the speed of James Roberts. He was on a motorbike. Flying through.
Even in slow-mo, he's at full speed.
Yeah.
He can motor, the man in number 2 for Penrith.
That was a little different. They were set to kick a player or two inside, and they shifted it on the last tackle, and Matt Moylan was the one. 3 wide from the play, the ball that ended up coming up with the kick, and he spotted the space, and he knew how quick this man was. They get their first try for the afternoon, the Panthers.
5 tries this season in 6 NRL games. And Matt Moylan with the kicking duties, despite the presence of Luke Walsh on the field, who's hitting them at 84% this season. He's working a leg complaint in backfield, so having landed 2 from 2 this year, Matt Moylan, how will he go with his third? Starts it to the right and keeps it there. So Mark Gasnier sideline, 22 points the difference with just over 20 to play.
Well, it's more of a huge rap to Cronulla's defence. You got the feeling that the only way the Panthers were going to score was off a kick. So, look, there's still a lot more to do with the Panthers. I think complacency is the only thing that can beat the Cronulla Sharks.
The Sharks slowly back to halfway, and they're missing a vital ingredient at the moment, a football.
All right.
Here it comes.
Oh, there's 2 on there now. Todd!
The urgency going out of this game in every sense of the word. That one's no good, so we'll get another one. You'd go to the bar 4 times.
Downside.
We're going again. What will that try do for Penrith? Anderson. In fact, it's Lattimore returning this time. Tim Grant.
Release him out of there.
Seguiaro jumping around and tackled by Peachy. John to Manu.
Tackle 4, quickly!
Tim Grant again for the Panthers, into Peachy. And this is the last. It's with Walsh, who gives it. Simpkins on to Farah, who chips and chases, giving it some height. The bounce is good for Michael Gordon. And he's tackled by Simmons and Farah.
It was a good set from the Panthers. They're doing everything just a little bit faster now. Throwing the ball around, and the margin might be too big for them to claw back, but they can certainly finish this game and walk away with a bit of pride.
This is Fafita with an offload back to De Gois, who was tackled from behind
Before he got the ball.
by Kevin Kingston, as the referees ruled before he received the ball. They've been in the top 8 since round 10, the Sharks. And they're going to stay there, but not if they keep kicking like that. Failing to find touch, and Moylan goes to Isaac John. Now Lewis Brown. A bad mistake from Cronulla, but luckily with them ahead by 22. Manu. For Pomeroy and Carney.
Pomeroy, out now!
Grant.
Chris, arms out.
Now Walsh. Running it, passing for Moylan. He's tackled by Robson and Wade Graham. Lattimore shows it and then runs into De Gois for Fafita and Wade Graham. Here's the last. They'll attack from close range. The ball in front of Isaac John. A horrible pass on the final play, and Sikamanu's going to take the last tackle.
Change over. Just leave it on the ground, please. Sika, put it on the ground, please. On the ground, thank you. Pick it up. Righto.
That was a sloppy finish from the Panthers, and that's probably been their strength as they started to win games. I think it was 1 and 5 of the first 6 rounds. So it wasn't a great start. Then as things started to turn, they really got on top of their execution. So the difference between their best and their worst was greatly minimised. They became a very consistent football team, but over this week and last week, there's been some of those deficiencies creep back into their footy.
As the Sharks come up with an error. Hyington, the man, putting it down. Still 16 and a half minutes to play.
Heads in. Hang on. Righto. Out.
Now we're ready. The scrum, Seguiaro to Isaac John and James Roberts. Doubling around. Seguiaro goes to Grant, who's tackled by De Gois, but the offload allows Seguiaro to throw it to Simpkins and Farray. Walsh to Grant. He straightens and offloads. Seguiaro running with some second phase ball. Now Walsh. Deep to Moylan, quick hands. Sikamanu, 3-on-2. He goes to Lewis Brown. Brown at Pomeroy, reaching but stopped a metre short. Roberts to Isaac John. He goes long to centre field. This is Moylan. To Farray, racing up to make the tackle. Fecky. The ball comes back to Moylan. He throws it to Simpkins. Walsh running across field, stabbing at the ball, looking for Lewis Brown, who dropped it. He only had to catch the ball, Lewis Brown, but he blew it.
Well, Luke Walsh didn't know what he was going to do. The closer he got to the defensive line and out of sheer desperation, just dropped it on the foot, and the kick held up beautifully for Lewis Brown. And you're right, Matty. Only needed to catch it, and they bagged themselves another 4-pointer.
26-10 with 15 to play. What could have been? Now Bryce Gibbs bumping away from a couple and taking some more metres. He puts it down. Moylan goes long to Isaac John. He dummies, runs and takes the tackle from Jason Bakuya around the ankles. That was zero tackle. Here's Adam Docker.
Bryce, come on, roll out, Bryce. Bryce, you're offside, Bryce.
Lattimore now. It's his 13th hit up of the game, Jeremy Lattimore. Walsh holds it up for Manu to go towards Lewis Brown. Again, the ball didn't find the mark. Brett Suttle has ruled knock on. This is the Lewis Brown chance. What a chance. Tough for the captain to watch from the sideline.
One little hand there from Nathan Stapleton saves his side a try. It's interesting when the games move into this kind of dynamic, I guess. You know, one side with not long to go, a long way ahead on the scoreboard. The other team, in this case, the Panthers, all of a sudden they start to throw it around, you know. A lot more second phase. It's a little bit less scripted, the football, and they have some success. And it begs the question, if it works for the last 20 minutes when you're behind on the scoreboard, why don't you roll it out in the first 20? Or even the first 40?
It's like the short kickoff. How many times do you see that work with a side down and in a desperate bid to get the ball back, they actually do it? John goes to Clint Newton, a try saver around the bootlaces. Now Isaac John to Simpkins with an offload for Seguiaro. He goes round in circles. Now he stops, starts again, puts on a shimmy and finishes where he started. Luke Walsh, a good pickup. He goes to Lewis Brown. Tackled by Carney and Pomeroy. Walsh just sits it up for Simpkins back at the angle. Here's James Roberts. He goes back to centre field behind Docker. Walsh long to Farray. And he's shut down by Wade Graham. Almost. Another offload. This one for Isaac John. Docker. And the Sharks wrap him up.
They've got numbers here on the left, the Panthers.
John. Deep for Moylan. Now quick hands, Lewis Brown, James Roberts jumping around, reaching, and unable to get to the in-goal area.
Yep. Yes. Tackle 5. Okay, I have a try.
He has got to the in-goal area, according to Shane Hayne.
There was some extra numbers there for the Panthers down their left edge, and it was just a matter of how quick they were going to play the ball to take advantage of it. It ended up in the hands of James Roberts, and he's desperately trying to get it across the line. We can't see there whether or not he's got it across the white stripe. We know he gets it down, but
well, that's down, but is it on the line?
it's fairly close. I mean, it's inconclusive from our end. So if the on-field referee has given it the green light, this may be the angle we...
Still up.
Does he lose control there?
I think he keeps control, but the question is, did he put it on the line? While we haven't seen any proof that he has, there's also no proof that he hasn't, so the on-field referee decision will stand. Well, there the ball's down, but...
Look, I'm not convinced.
Is it near the line? The on-field decision was try, and that's how it stays. Close enough is good enough for James Roberts to get a double. So 26-8. He scored 3 against the Gold Coast in Darwin. A double this afternoon. And funnily, a lot of those tries have come from close range. We haven't seen that burst of speed that he is famous for over a long range. Luke Walsh trying to add the extras. He steers it through. 26-10 with 11.5 to play, Mark Gasnier.
Yeah, a little bit of a sniff for the Panthers. We all said what a great finisher James Robert is. You give him that little bit of space, he'll make the most of it. But look, I have to take this time to give Cronulla Sharks a huge rap. I myself thought, you know, the Penrith Panthers were going to come with a far superior game plan, but I tell you what, it's just showed today that desire will beat any game plan. They've been good without being brilliant, the Sharks, and particularly their edges. I think Wright, Pomeroy, Stapleton and Feckie, they've done an outstanding job. So well done. And well done to Shane Flanagan for getting them back up after last week's effort.
The important set here for Penrith.
Tell you what, Lewis Brown grabs that try. Makes a very interesting game, and I still think it's going to be interesting. Just a tick over 10 minutes to go. If the Panthers grab another quick try, this is going to be a close finish.
If the Sharks were thinking of just easing out of this game, they had better think again.
17 offloads now for the Panthers. I reckon 90% of those have come inside the last 10 minutes.
A chip and a chase from Walsh, regathered by Moylan. Now he loses it. And the penalty for offside comes because Walsh picked it up after it was lost forward by Moylan.
Your bloke's offside, Wade.
It was a great gather by Moylan over the top of the Sharks' Jeff Robson, and then he lost the ball. Luke Walsh offside as a result.
Wade Graham coming blowing up. It's your penalty, Wade. Go easy on me.
Fafita. Important possession for Cronulla now as they look to keep the Panthers at bay and stem this mini comeback. Wade Graham plays it 18 metres out. Robson tackled. Carney goes long into the hands of Pomeroy. There's the half-century in game 150 for the Sharks. He gets his 50th try for Cronulla. The drought is over. 14 games without a try. No more.
Take nothing away from the pass here. Todd Carney throws a beautiful ball, but Ben Pomeroy, he just shifts as the ball's making its way across the field. Gets on the outside of Lewis Brown, straightens up inside the Penrith winger and gets a great try. I mean, Carney's had an afternoon out today. He has been on fire. This man who grabbed the 4-pointer, he's highly regarded here at the Sharks. Plays tough footy, doubles as an extra forward for them when they need him.
52 career tries because he scored a couple at Penrith over his 2 seasons, but he's 50th for Cronulla. Camped on 49 for so long, the longest drought of his career.
He's a big, strong thing. There was some vision last week of him and Paul Gallen having a muck around wrestle in the sheds. And at some point there, he had Paul Gallen off the ground, just toying with him.
Todd Carney trying to stay perfect today. 5 from 5 becomes 6 from 6. 32-10. They're home now, the Sharks, and they'll start to think about points differential, which, given the logjam in the middle of the table, could be crucial after round 26.
The better thing for the Sharks is it's good to see the team playing well at the moment. I mean, take last week out, that loss against the Roosters, well, that was just horrible for Cronulla. But on top of playing well as a team, you want your star players playing their best footy. You know, that's why the Storm have had success. Come the business end of the season, you know, the big three have always played well. You know, they can, in the tight games where all things being equal, it's the star players that prove the difference in the end. And Todd Carney, to see him, the kind of form he's been in over the last month, Sharks fans would be super excited.
Wait.
Now Carney back to Tagatese, who's hit to start the second half, will be replayed a few times. And here's a run from Sam Tagatese, a good one. He went sideways to go forwards. Carney, high, end over end this time. A test for Matt Moylan, who measures his run and catches well.
Oh, that's one down, let him go.
He gets the penalty as well.
Hang on, mate, hang on, make sure. Yes, mate.
Part of the reason that Sharks should be excited over the back end of this year is the experience they have. 4 players, 30 years and over, out there today. Morris, Robson, Ryan and Ross. Knowing the long careers of Gallen and Lewis to come back as well. They've got big match experience when it matters through August, and hopefully for Sharks fans in September.
John, don't go.
John to Lewis Brown. Here's James Roberts. With 2 already, he scuttles across field.
That's right.
He skips faster than most players run.
Docker loses the ball. It just hasn't been Penrith Day on so many fronts. And having lost consecutive games now against Newcastle and Cronulla, doesn't Friday night against the Sydney Roosters become important?
Here we are, boys.
I don't know about you, Matt, but
Lewis.
I got a sense that, and it was a massive tick for the Panthers, but that they were perhaps overachieving. You know, the start to the season wasn't great. They've basically taken a sword to their roster. Got rid of some really high-quality players, experience, some of which have landed here in the Shire. But for whatever reason, a couple of months into the competition, Ivan Cleary started to get a bit of traction with his side, and they started winning games. But you always got the sense up against the teams with more star power, they were perhaps going to struggle, particularly at the back end of the season, and that's become evident over the last couple of weeks.
And Andrew Fafita down in back play.
Thank you.
Sharks fans
We got a knock,
hold their breath.
Knock on here. Initially. see him knocks it on the ground when he kicks it in. I don't worry about watching
This will show it. He was picked up and put on the point of his shoulder. Is it a neck complaint for Andrew Fifita? That vision suggests so. He's okay.
Another strong performance from the Cronulla front rower. 33 tackles, 20 hit-ups, 4 offloads. We haven't seen much of the brilliance from him this afternoon, but that's the great thing about Andrew Fifita. If he's not scoring tries, he's still getting through a mountain of work.
Lewis Brown. Manu loses the ball. It's picked up by Bakuya, but a strip is the ruling from Shane Hayne.
No.
Here's Tim Grant.
That's one now.
What are the Panthers going to give us late in this game? Isaac John goes to Moylan. Fare is stopped. Isaac John sits it up for Tim Grant. Still 3 tackles left for the Panthers in good position. Walsh runs it and gives it to Simpkins, who can't get the ball away as Morris, Hyington and Fifita combine. Kingston to Isaac John, rolls it off the hand for Newton, who scored late last week. Is there one here as well for Clint? He reached out, Clint Newton, and lost it forward.
Let it go. Just wait. It's a knock on, boys.
Well, that man, Clint Newton, expanded on what you were talking about, Penrith's form. He said, yes, we've been promising, maybe we've overachieved, but the real test will come against the top teams. Newcastle last week, they lost. They've lost today against the Sharks. On Friday, it's the Roosters. And then North Queensland, the Warriors, Brisbane, Canterbury and Manly. So plenty of top teams there to test themselves against. If they're going to be a top 8 team, they're going to have to earn it over the next 6 weeks.
No, it's over here, boys.
Sharks get their 11th penalty. 11-7, they are winning the count into the final 2 minutes. Having kept Penrith at arm's reach after leading 20-0 at half-time.
And as we head to a close here, I mean, just to reinforce what Mark Yasny has been saying all afternoon, the strength of the Sharks' goal line defence. 43 attacking opportunities inside the opposition 20-metre zone. The Panthers have had. They've been at the Cronulla Sharks goal line defence all afternoon. Sharks make a mistake here. Only 19 for Cronulla. So have copped a hell of a lot of fire from their opposition, the Sharks, but they've withstood anything pretty much that the Panthers have been able to throw at them.
I know the Sharks will want to improve on this performance. They are winners, but it won't be in the top 10 in terms of quality games we've seen this season. And they've got a big assignment next weekend. Isaac de Gois and his teammates against the Warriors at Mount Smart. And the Warriors on a roll now. The only hiccup, an impressive loss against South Sydney and Perth over the last couple of months. Jonathan Wright gets away from Walsh and takes a few more metres before being upended by Docker.
He's been great this afternoon, Jonathan Wright. Really strong performance from the left centre, the Sharks.
Morris gives it to Hyington, who goes back to Morris. Comes to Robson and takes a tackle 10 metres out. They'd love a try to finish. The Sharks looking for the exclamation mark. Carney kicks, looking for Fecky. Fecky dived. The crowd went up.
Tackle 3. No try, mate. No try. Check round him.
But we have a no try from Shane Hayne. The video referees will agree, I think you'll find.
Listen, you got it wrong on Matt Moylan. He's missed this here. You think it's rolled dead?
Well, you were waving your arm saying no try.
There's a great kick from Todd Carney. Saw the space. David Simmons was coming in to take Jonathan Wright. Fecky raced through. Oh!
Oh! Is it simultaneous with the dead ball line in the grass? This will show it. Oh! Simultaneous means it's no try. It's on the dead ball line. So the original ruling was no try. Oh!
I'd give that. I think there's
that
enough
shot there.
Some space.
By a millimetre.
I'm seeing a bit of green between the ball and the dead ball line.
Sasaya Fecky looking for his second try of the afternoon. Has he got there? Yes! Everyone is up at Shark Park. 36-10. In the dying seconds of this one, the Sharks get their 6th try. And Todd Carney, maybe this is the exclamation mark, because he is 6 from 6 today, having scored a try as well and kicked in general play impressively.
And this goal really means nothing to anyone except Todd Carney.
And a couple of thousand people in the Peter Burns stand watching on, thinking of that first ale and thinking it's going to taste just that little bit better if this one sails over the black dot, or in the case of this ground, the green dot. Everyone is up and willing it over. You just get the feeling. You just get the feeling that the power of many will steer this one over. From the fingertips to the boot of Todd Carney, what way is the ball going to go? A kick that means nothing, but we're riding it home from the eastern sideline, bringing it back. Todd Carney, 7 from 7, 38-10. The Sharks win. He was always going to kick that, Ben Eichen.
He has had a day out this afternoon. Has been in everything. They really tested him early. The Penrith Panthers ran a lot of traffic his way and went without fault in defence, and the time he got his mojo going with the ball, he was near unstoppable, scoring tries, setting them up, and is back to somewhere near his best. I'll say it again, when Todd Carney is playing good football, Sharks look like a tough proposition, and on the eve of finals, that's exactly what you need. Your best players playing their best football.
They bounce back from a 40-0 defeat to put 38 points on Penrith. The Sharks' 10th win of the season. And Mark Gasnier is standing by with the man of the match.
The Mazda BT50 man of the match. More is more.
Yes, and the Mazda BT50 man of the match is undoubtedly Todd Carney. Toddy, first of all, congratulations. Mate, a great victory considering the amount of talent you got sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, definitely. It was disappointing last week, and we worked hard this week, and we knew we were going to be without Gal, Louis, and the rest of the boys, and we trained well, and we come out and put on a show against the home crowd.
Individually outstanding. I have to ask, because it looks this way, do you feel more comfortable with Jeff Robinson in the team?
Yeah, definitely. Robbo just steadies the ship, and the way we played today with me sweeping out the back, it gives me one role, and if I've got to turn up for that role, and yeah, as you said, Robbo just steadies the ship, and yeah, he's the best of luck controlling the game for us.
Mate, is the top 4 out of the grasp?
We just got to keep winning, and if we do that, we can definitely get in that top 4. But for us, is just being consistent every week. We've got a big road trip next week to New Zealand, and we just got to keep getting those wins and steering clear of that middle queue where it's about 22, 20 points.
Well, thanks a lot, Toddy, and good luck next week, mate.
Thanks a lot, mate.
And nice enough to join us, Clint Newton. Nudo, Mate, that's a tough one to cop considering you put in a similar performance last week.
Yeah, you can't toss up back-to-back efforts like that. You know, they're a tough team, especially to come to Shark Park. You know, they've shown great resolve this year, and it's credit to them, but we just didn't give ourselves a chance. Too many penalties, incompleted sets.
A 4-point buffer now in the 8 makes things harder, but is defence the key to the Penrith Panthers season?
Oh, 100%. When we won the games in a row, like, it all come down to our defence, and you can't leak 30 points, you know, and expect to win the game. You know, it's just not acceptable, and we just got to dust ourselves off and turn up with a better attitude next week.
I'm sure you will, Nudo. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Clint Newton. But as you can hear in the background, it is up, Cronulla. They climb to a share of 5th with some big names to return. More home ground success for the Sharks. We will break and come back to wrap it up from Ramonda Stadium. It was family fun day at Shark Park, and Sharks fans certainly had fun. I've watched their team score 6 tries to 2 and bounce back from a heavy loss against the Roosters with some heavy treatment on the Panthers along the way as well. 38-10 winners. Very good from the Sharks today, and hard to believe they were beaten 40-0 last week by the Roosters.
Haven't they turned it around quickly with a solid performance? You know, they were caught on their heels in the opening exchanges here this afternoon. Panthers started really well. They were winning the field position and possession battle, but once the Sharks decided to tighten the screws, momentum swung the other way, and when their opportunities presented, well, the Sharks were able to convert where the Panthers weren't able to.
The Sharks led 20-0 at half-time, and then Michael Gordon scored his second after they kept play alive. It was a beautiful little touch from Gordon to set the kick up, but good work from Sasai Feki as well to keep the play alive after the crossfield kick.
It was desperation here, and I mean, Wade Graham, by the time he got the ball and turned around, all the Cronulla players had forced their way back in a position to receive the ball. Michael Gordon was there, come up with a brilliant piece of play to get the 4-pointer, and the Panthers, as they got towards the back end of the second 40, decided to throw a bit of caution to the wind and play a bit differently with a little bit of variety in this kick from Matt Moylan on the last. For James Roberts, he showed how fast he is, and when he gets going, boy, oh boy, can't he move. And he'll grab the second try for the Panthers as well. Again, not much room to move here, but he weaves his way through multiple defenders, and it looks scrappy there, but he does actually get the ball across the white stripe.
Yeah, show of speed for his first try, show of strength for his second. The video referee signing off on this effort, deeming that the ball had touched the goal line, but then the Sharks put it beyond doubt. With Ben Pomeroy scoring his 50th career try for the Sharks, he breaks a 14-game scoring drought. In game 150 for Cronulla, so he celebrates a milestone in a big way today with a big win, Ben Pomeroy, and then the exclamation mark.
Yeah, the man of the match, Todd Carney, late on the last 2 tries, set it up for Ben Pomeroy just there before, and then with a kick that was very well weighted, only by millimetres, Sasai Feki will race through, and first glance this didn't look like it was going to be a try, but on replay we saw there was actually some green turf between the ball and the white stripe by the time Feki got to the ball to place it down.
And then he converted from the sideline to make it 7 from 7 in what was, as you rightfully said, a man of the match display. It keeps coming, the football on Fox Sports. Monday night football from Campbelltown. The Tigers against the Seagulls. Don't miss that one. But from Shark Park, it's been a big day from Cronulla. On behalf of the entire Fox team, I'm Matt Russell. Enjoy your afternoon.
This has been a production of Fox Sports in partnership with the National Rugby League.